Have you ever wondered what goes on in a woman's mind when she's into you? Today we're diving into the weird and wonderful signs that she's been thinking about you a lot, especially if you're an older guy. That's right, we asked women to spill the beans on the strange things they do when they've got a crush, and boy, did they deliver. From odd requests to random texts in the middle of the night, these ladies have some seriously creative ways of dropping hints. But don't worry, we're here to decode all those cryptic messages and help you figure out if she's really into you or just messing with your head. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be an expert at reading between the lines and spotting those subtle and not so subtle signs that she's got you on her mind. Before we dive in, if you're ready to change the way you date, why not start with a free strategy call? You'll find the link below. 1. Asking for help with odd tasks. First up, we've got the classic damsel in distress move. You know, when she suddenly needs your help with the most random, trivial tasks. Like, hey, can you come over and help me rearrange my bookshelf? I can't decide if I should organize by author or color. Or, I just bought this new piece of furniture, and I really need a strong man to help me assemble it. Sure, because assembling IKEA furniture is totally a two-person job, right? Don't get us wrong, it's totally normal to ask for help when you really need it. But if she's constantly finding excuses to get you to come over and fix things, chances are she's more interested in spending time with you than getting her tasks done. And let's be real, there's something kind of cute about a woman who's not afraid to admit she needs a little help now and then, especially from a handsome, capable guy like you. So next time she calls you up with a bizarre request, just remember, she might not really need your handyman skills, but she definitely wants your attention. 2. Bringing up odd coincidences. Have you ever had a younger woman casually mention some weird coincidence that made her think of you? Like, oh my gosh, I was just walking down the street and I saw this guy wearing the exact same shirt as you. Isn't that wild? Or, I was watching this movie the other night and the main character had the same name as you. It was like a sign from the universe. Now, maybe she's just really into astrology and believes in cosmic connections, or maybe, just maybe, she's been thinking about you so much that she's starting to see you everywhere. It's like you've become a part of her subconscious, and suddenly everything reminds her of you. And let's be honest, there's something kind of flattering about knowing you've made such a strong impression on someone that they can't help but notice all these little coincidences. So the next time she brings up some random connection between you two, just smile and nod along. Who knows? Maybe the universe really is trying to tell you something. 3. Random texts about dreams. Okay guys, this one's a doozy. Picture this. It's 3 a.m., you're sound asleep, and suddenly your phone buzzes with a text. It's her, and she's got something important to tell you. No, not that she's in trouble or needs your help, but that she had a dream about you last night. Yep, you read that right. She's texting you in the middle of the night to let you know that you made a guest appearance in her subconscious. Now, depending on the nature of the dream, which she may or may not divulge, this could be a good sign or a slightly awkward one. But either way, the fact that she's thinking about you even in her sleep is a pretty strong indication that you've been on her mind a lot. And let's face it, there's something kind of intimate and vulnerable about sharing your dreams with someone, even if it's just via text. So if you wake up to a message from her describing some wild scenario where you two are co-starring, take it as a compliment. And maybe consider investing in some better locks, just in case. 4. Commenting on your social media at odd hours. You know what they say. The early bird catches the worm, but the night owl catches feelings. Okay, maybe that's not exactly how the saying goes, but bear with us. If you've been noticing that she's liking or commenting on your social media posts at odd hours of the night, there's a good chance you're not just another follower to her. After all, most people aren't scrolling through their feeds and engaging with content at 2 a.m. unless they're really invested in what or who they're seeing. And if she's consistently popping up in your notifications long after everyone else has gone to bed, it's probably because she's been thinking about you and can't resist the urge to interact, even if it means sacrificing some precious sleep. Now, we're not saying you should read too much into every late-night like or comment, but if it's happening on a regular basis, it's definitely a sign that you're on her mind, even during her most private hours. Just try not to let it go to your head. After all, she might just be a really dedicated social media user, or a vampire. You never know. If you're enjoying the content and looking to transform your dating life, don't just watch, act. Our free strategy call offers personalized tips on meeting more women and dating with confidence. Find out more by clicking the link in the pinned comment. 5. Mentioning your favorite foods randomly. All right, fellas, let's talk about food. No, not because I'm hungry, although now that you mention it, but because the way to a man's heart is apparently through his stomach, and she knows it. If you've noticed that she's been casually dropping references to your favorite foods into conversations that have nothing to do with eating, it's a pretty good sign that she's been paying attention to your preferences and wants to show you that she cares. For example, let's say you once mentioned in passing that you love a good steak dinner. Suddenly, she's bringing up steakhouses and butcher shops in the middle of a conversation about work or hobbies. Or maybe you raved about your mom's homemade lasagna, and now she's asking for the recipe or suggesting Italian restaurants for your next date. The point is, she's not just making small talk. She's trying to connect with you on a deeper level by showing that she remembers the little things that matter to you. And who knows, maybe she's even trying to hint that she'd love to cook for you sometime. So the next time she randomly brings up your favorite dish, just smile and appreciate the fact that she's been thinking about what makes you happy, and maybe offer to do the dishes afterward. Trust us, it'll score you major points. 6. Singing songs you like. You know that feeling when you can't get a song out of your head, no matter how hard you try? Well, imagine that. But instead of some random top 40 hit, it's a song that reminds her of you. If you've noticed that she's been humming or singing tunes that she knows you enjoy, it's a pretty clear sign that you've been on her mind a lot. After all, music has a way of evoking memories and emotions, and if she's got your favorite song stuck in her head, it's probably because they make her think of you in a positive light. Maybe you bonded over a shared love of a particular artist, or perhaps you once told her that a certain song always puts you in a good mood. Whatever the case may be, the fact that she's now incorporating those tunes into her own life is a way of keeping you close, even when you're not around. And let's be real, there's something undeniably attractive about a woman who shares your taste in music and isn't afraid to belt out a few bars in your presence. So the next time she starts crooning one of your favorite melodies, take it as a compliment, and maybe even join in for an impromptu duet. 7. Repeating your phrases. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? Well, if you've noticed that she started incorporating your catchphrases or slang into her own vocabulary, take it as a major compliment. It means that she's not only been paying attention to the way you speak, but she's also subconsciously, or maybe even consciously, trying to emulate you. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean she's going to start dressing like you or copying your every move, although if she does, that's a whole other level of infatuation. But it does show that she admires you and wants to connect with you on a deeper level. Maybe you have a particular way of saying hello or a go-to joke that always makes her laugh. If she starts using those same phrases in her own conversations, it's a way of keeping a little piece of you with her, even when you're not around. And let's face it, there's something kind of adorable about hearing your own words come out of her mouth, almost like a secret language that only the two of you share. So the next time she drops one of your signature lines, don't be afraid to call her out on it, in a playful way, of course. It'll show her that you've been paying attention too, and that you appreciate the effort she's making to connect with you. 8. Wearing your favorite color. You've probably heard the saying, wearing your heart on your sleeve, but what about wearing your crush's favorite color? If you've noticed that she's been sporting a lot of blue lately, or whatever hue happens to be your go-to, it might not be a coincidence. In fact, it could be a subtle way of showing you that she's been thinking about you and wants to catch your eye. Now, we're not saying that every girl who wears your favorite color is secretly in love with you. Sorry to burst your bubble. But if it's someone you've been vibing with and she suddenly starts incorporating more of that shade into her wardrobe, it's definitely worth noting. Maybe she remembers you mentioning that you love the way she looks in green. Or perhaps she's just trying to subconsciously associate herself with something that makes you happy. Either way, it's a small but meaningful gesture that shows she's been paying attention to your preferences and wants to make a good impression. And let's be real, there's something kind of thrilling about seeing your favorite color on someone you're attracted to, almost like a secret message that only you can decode. So the next time she shows up rocking your signature shade, don't be afraid to compliment her on it. It'll let her know that her efforts haven't gone unnoticed, and it might even inspire her to wear it more often. 9. Tagging you in random posts. Social media. It's a blessing and a curse, but when it comes to flirting, it can be a goldmine of subtle and not so subtle hints. If you've noticed that she's been tagging you in posts that have absolutely nothing to do with you, it's a pretty clear sign that she's been thinking about you a lot and wants to get your attention. Maybe she's sharing a meme that made her laugh and thinks you'll appreciate it too. Or perhaps she's just using any excuse to include you in her online life. Whatever the case may be, the fact that she's going out of her way to involve you in her social media presence is a pretty strong indication that you're on her mind, even when she's scrolling through her feeds. Now, we're not saying you should read too much into every random tag. After all, some people just really love sharing cat videos. But if it's happening on a regular basis and she's always finding ways to include you in her online world, it's definitely worth taking note of. And who knows, maybe those tags will lead to some offline conversations and connections too. So the next time she hits you with an out-of-the-blue mention, don't be afraid to engage with it. Even if it's just to say, "Thanks for thinking of me." It'll show her that you're paying attention and appreciate the effort she's making to keep you in her orbit. 10. Quoting your favorite movies. You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and suddenly a character drops a line that perfectly encapsulates your life at that moment? Well, imagine that. But instead of it being a random coincidence, it's her quoting one of your favorite films out of the blue. If you've noticed that she's been dropping movie references that she knows you love, it's a pretty clear sign that she's been thinking about you and wants to connect with you on a deeper level. Maybe you once had a long conversation about your shared love of a particular director, or perhaps you've just mentioned in passing that a certain movie always makes you laugh. Whatever the case may be, the fact that she's now incorporating those quotes into your conversations is a way of showing you that she's been paying attention and wants to share in your interests. And let's be real. There's something undeniably attractive about a woman who can quote your favorite movies with ease, almost like a secret language that only the two of you speak. So the next time she drops a line from a film you love, don't be afraid to play along. Quote the next line back to her, or use it as an opportunity to start a deeper conversation about the movie and what it means to you. It'll show her that you appreciate her effort to connect with you, and it might even lead to some more movie marathons in the future. 11. Sending you memes or inside jokes. Memes and inside jokes might seem like a silly thing to bond over, but hear us out. If she's been sending you memes or references that only the two of you understand, it's a pretty clear sign that she's been thinking about you a lot and wants to strengthen your connection. After all, sharing a joke that no one else gets is like having a secret handshake or a code word. It's a way of saying, "You and I have something special, and no one else can touch it." Maybe you once had a hilarious conversation about a particular TV show, and now she's sending you gifs from that show whenever she wants to make you laugh. Or perhaps you've created your own inside jokes based on shared experiences or observations, and she's constantly finding ways to reference them in your conversations. Whatever the case may be, the fact that she's making an effort to keep those jokes and references alive is a way of showing you that your bond is important to her and that she cherishes the memories you've made together. So the next time she sends you a meme that makes you chuckle or a reference that only you two understand, take it as a compliment. It means that she values your sense of humor and wants to keep that spark alive, even when you're not together. And who knows, maybe those inside jokes will turn into a lifetime of laughter and shared memories. 12. Asking for your opinion on weird topics. Last but not least, we have the classic, "What do you think about this random thing I'm suddenly interested in?" move. If she's been seeking your opinion on topics that seem to come out of left field, it's a pretty good sign that she's been thinking about you a lot and values your perspective. Maybe she's suddenly super curious about your thoughts on the latest conspiracy theory, or perhaps she's asking for your take on a new hobby she's considering. Whatever the case may be, the fact that she's coming to you for advice and opinions shows that she trusts you and wants to include you in her thought process. Now, we're not saying you need to become an expert on every obscure topic she throws your way, unless you want to, in which case, go for it. But taking the time to engage with her and offer your honest perspective can go a long way in strengthening your bond. It shows her that you're willing to listen and that you care about what's on her mind, even if it's not something you'd normally think about. And who knows, maybe those weird topics will lead to some fascinating conversations and new shared interests. So the next time she asks for your opinion on something out of the ordinary, don't be afraid to dive in and explore it with her. It might just bring you closer together in ways you never expected. So now that you know those signs, what's next for you? Discover what younger women do when trying to seduce you, or learn the subtle art of flirtation. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.